Great question.
All right. Hey there, everybody. This is Sean from the Dukes of Dice podcast, and we're bringing you one of our semi-monthly, bi-monthly live hangouts that you can come in, you can ask questions of me, but also we bring you a special guest from board game media or the industry or whatever. And so today, I'm very excited that we have Tony McRae from Rolling Dice and Taking Names. How's it going, Tony?
It's going great, Sean. I am honored, privileged, and just awed that I am doing this. And thank you guys for having me. This is incredible. But as usual, somebody has to bail on me, but that's all right. We made up for it. That's okay.
Yeah. So Alex was on board, and then let's see, how do I put this? Our governor decided to make a non-emergency issue into an emergency and has called for a special session of the legislature. And so Alex, in his day job, has to cover that, and that's a bummer. So, but what's cool is not only can people come in and ask questions, but some of our awesome Patreon supporters, like Derek here, gets to join in on the live hangout. So how's it going, Derek?
Pretty good. Thanks. I always enjoy jumping in on these. I think Jamie Stegmeyer was the last one, right?
Yeah, we did Jamie, and then we did Suzanne before that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it's always fun to hang out with people.
Dude, you're going downhill. You're going downhill.
Yeah, but when you go downhill, you pick up momentum, right?
Oh, perfect. I like that.
If you want to call it momentum, you go right ahead and call it momentum. I wouldn't call it momentum, but anyway. And it's always fun. We're going to need to keep Derek talking so I can keep reading all the games on his shelves. So there we go.
Let's put them up. Derek's got a good collection there.
Yeah, this is my good spot. I put all my good games right there, so when I broadcast.
The Uwe shelf.
Yep. It's a good shelf.
Yeah.
Look at all that. Yeah. That is awesome. So it's interesting to see that, everybody has that. So when I do all this, Marty makes fun of me because I don't have a gaming shelf that I can show. So I'd say, for Sean, I'm going to create my gaming stairs.
Yeah,
so
I like
that. So here, let's put you up there. So is that Mechs vs. Minions?
That is correct because of your last show. It's a jab at you. But anyway, I love you, buddy. I love you. And that is Thunder Road. That is a Grail game right there. Somebody heard me talking about it, and they said, you know what? We need to give it some love. So they sent it to me, and I was more than appreciative. And I've got to get some people over here to play that game with me. And I can't wait. We have a convention coming up in North Carolina in November where Steve Avery usually shows up. I'm going to try to convince him. We're going to maybe do a Thunder Road tournament if I can convince him to do it.
Okay, very cool. So you guys did just do the interview with the guys from Riot Games, and yes. I was surprised that you weren't familiar with League of Legends, because didn't you play like a bunch of StarCraft?
Oh, I played. Yeah. But I'd played StarCraft, Warcraft, Guild Wars, World of Warcraft. And then, unfortunately, I completely got out of video games. My computer couldn't keep up with it. You understand that.
Oh, absolutely. I played League of Legends like a couple times, and I realized it was just too much. It was going to be too much of a time sink. Like, that would be all I did. But I appreciated that it kind of grew out of that StarCraft, like Warcraft 3, those mods, which I always had fun. Like, I always had more fun playing the different mods that crazy people would come up with, that eventually led to League of Legends. So I just thought it was interesting. I'm excited to give Mechs vs. Minions a try because it looks really cool. Well,
and Derek, did you play League of Legends?
No, I don't do video games unless it's Mario Kart.
I'm with you there, and I mean, I went to GameStop to sell back the Wii because we don't use it anymore, and he said $20, and I was like, "You've got to be freaking kidding me!"
Yep.
Oh, really? The Mario Kart got me more money than the freaking Wii. I'll just keep it.
Yeah, I traded it out for a Wii U because my parents got one for free because someone stole their Wii. And so I just gave them my Wii and they gave me a Wii U. So that's how I upgraded. But I think I played through Mario Kart and then I was done.
Yeah. So I saw a troll out there and he asked me who sent in Thunder Road, and I'll talk to you about that later, Marty. We'll discuss it later, okay?
Yeah, I need to pull up the chat here. Let me do that. So Tony, what's been making it to your table?
Well, actually, what's really interesting, I'm not trying to push it. I know everybody's been talking about the media blitz, but last night I did play Mechs versus Minions with my wife and our neighbors, some 50-plussers around here. And I was kind of curious how it would sit with them. My wife loves Pandemic, and they love Pandemic. They take that type of game. So it's a co-op game. And I'm like, how will this do? Will there be too much, programming, too much deep thought here? And I'm like, I put it on the table. They freaking loved it. Loved it.
Cool.
So, if you got, your parents, because, you pull in that young demographic, Sean, they'll enjoy it like me.
Well, that's good to hear. Like I said, I'm excited for it. I think it looks cool. I'm kind of enthralled by the media blitz. Again, we weren't included in the media blitz, so that's fine.
Is it fine?
But no, I'm kind of enthralled by the amount of resources that they put into reaching out to board game media and reaching out to people like Tom beforehand. Flew him in for development and things like that. They've got the money. They've got the money to throw around. But I just think it's interesting. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different thing having the money and then knowing what to do with it. And they clearly did their research to know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, it's Alex in the chat. He said he had a similar experience trading in his Xbox 360. Not much of a market out there.
Now, I still use my 360. I love Burnout Paradise. Love it.
We upgraded to the one about 3 months ago, I think. And that was just so I could have a better experience playing Black Ops 3. Otherwise, I feel like the Xbox One interface is really clunky, and I feel like they rushed it to market, and it's a pain in the butt. But whatever.
Yeah, and I thought we were going to talk about board games, but I'm all about video games too. I can do that. By the way, guys, first off, you guys who put on a weekly show, amazing. Hats off to you guys. That is incredible. I think it would kill my co-host for editing every week, because I'll step back. It's all about him right there.
Well, thank you. And I'll say this: all of the thanks goes to my better half, not Alex, but Raquel, for letting me edit every weekend and produce the show every weekend and stuff. So yeah, thank you. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. So.
Yeah, I just do a 10-minute segment, and that's too much, and I hardly edit it at all.
Well, if you do anything for, like, Marty also is crazy enough to go out and do Throat Punch Lunch, and then anybody that does all the videoing, I'm amazed by it. Now, someday I hope to do that, and I keep saying that just to maybe build up momentum, but who knows, Yeah.
No, it's a lot of work, and we're always we like doing this kind of video stuff because it's pretty easy. I click a button and it's on, and it goes up, and there's content on the YouTube channel. But I don't know that I do know it's not as sought after as a playthrough or like an actual video review or anything like that. In fact, so Jeff Hayward and Steve O'Rourke both are kind of asking about, will we be doing future live video playthroughs? So here's the quote unquote schedule for this Patreon stuff. Basically, we've unlocked the goals, the milestones, where we do one of these, where we have someone like Tony on, that our Patreon counts and dukes can participate in. We have that every other month. And then separate from that, we have two other hangouts that we do, we have another hangout we do every month. So 1 month it'll be another live Q&A with Alex and I, and that's going to be on the months that we don't have one of these, I think.
Hold on, dude. Let me get a piece of paper and write this down.
Yeah,
Spreadsheet would be better.
Yeah. And then the other month, we decided to start doing these playthroughs, but I don't know if there's a higher demand for like a playthrough, like try and pick up how to play as we're playing, or just for the more interactive nature of it, like watching like if we get like a group of like 3, 4, 5 people playing, I don't know, Lords of Vegas or the Resistance or something like that, and just kind of the spectacle of it. I don't know if what the demand is for one of those versus the other. So we did Battle Lore a couple weeks ago, which was fun because it gave us a chance to play Battle Lore because it's one of my favorite games and I hardly ever get to play it. So that was cool. Yeah, I don't know.
If you could figure out a way to do it, it'd be cool to do Spyfall.
That would be cool.
With like just the counts and dukes, I mean.
Oh yeah.
If you could get 8 people.
We could probably. That actually would be pretty sweet. I think
you have to figure out. Yeah. It'd be weird to get the cards to them, but.
Oh, that's true. There's some way you could do that.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like there's probably a list of games that you could probably facilitate that kind of thing just over chat like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So Essen, Jeff was asking, what does Essen look like for everybody? What are they excited about? Marty's already responded back. That's awesome, dude. For me, I'm looking at Portal of Morth. That looked interesting. Of course, Ex Nimit. And I know this was on Kickstarter, Fields of Green. I'm kind of really interested in that. I don't know. And then I'm still going through the 28 pages on BGG as to see what's out there. Great Western Trail, of course. We all are giddy about that.
Oh, yeah.
And Adrenaline. Oh, my heavens. Wow.
Yeah, we just briefly talked about Adrenaline on the podcast that we recorded this week that hasn't aired yet. They're doing a lot of cool stuff. And I know like one thing I'm excited for is they're going to show the progress on their Through the Ages app, which sounds really cool because I totally want to play a game of Through the Ages against the computer in like 30 minutes, like 20 times in a row. So that sounds awesome. So wait, what was the green one you mentioned?
Fields of Green, an Artipia game. It was on Kickstarter.
It's basically Among the Stars, kind of with a simpler setup and a reskin, right?
Yeah, it's a reskin. I think it's farming. What is it? It's farming trains or space. Okay,
right.
That's it.
Or Mars specifically.
Or Mars right now. Yeah.
Derek, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, goodness. Great Western Trail is definitely on the top of my list. Also looking forward, just to mention one that hasn't been mentioned, Nautilion, I think is how it's pronounced. It's the new Oniverse game. I have to live up to my Twitter handle as the solo story gamer. So, I love that series for the most part, and so I'm really looking forward to that one. Dice game, I think, something like that. It's going to be interesting.
An Oniverse dice game. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I saw that, but I didn't look at it. So mine are, I guess, pretty typical what you might expect from me. I'm looking Great Western Trail because Alexander Pfister has just been on fire. I mean, awesome. Looking forward to that. Oracle Delphi because I love my Feld games, even though it's a pick up and deliver Feld apparently, and I'm not crazy about pick up and deliver, but it's still Feld, so I'm still going to check it out. And that's from Tasty Minstrel Games, and then Feast for Odin, the Uwe game.
Yeah,
of course. That's like Patchwork on crack.
Yeah.
It has all the – basically, I guess he was designing a Feast for Odin and then was like, oh, I like this like Tetris component to it. Let me just make a game of that, and then I'll come back to this as the apocryphal story I heard.
Yeah,
so,
and it was the same thing with Cottage Garden because that has a lot of this, at least as far as I can tell, very similar kind of patchwork-looking content. So –
And so I'm go ahead.
They all look good. Let's face facts. I mean, it's constant churn. It's constant coming. What's new? What's happening now? Great Western Trail. It'd be nice if Mr. Bonacore would go ahead and push all that out to those review copies.
Yeah, right.
Well, Alex did a Patreon interview with him the other day, which is going to air next Friday. And I told Alex, I'm like, you pin him down. We need Great Western Trail. That game's going to be awesome.
Yep.
So,
well, and then you got to get him to pin him down. Now, how did Alex handle the constant, this coming out, because he released all of his stuff for pre-order. Is amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't listened to the interview yet because I get to edit it, which I'll probably be doing at some point tomorrow. But Alex can keep people on track. But you know how Bonacore is. Yeah. He is probably one of the best pitchmen, the best salesperson in the industry. So I know he gets everything he wants to put out there. He's gonna fit it in, I'm sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not like it's his job.
And I don't know if they talked about that. I don't know how much they talked about whether or not this transition now that he's doing it full time, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That is cool. Speaking of jobs, how's your new lawyer job going?
Good. It's what did I start? I started in February, and so it's family law. I'm less stressed out all the time because I don't have my old clients who are the banks that have all of these requirements, like this needs to be done by this date and this needs to be done by this date. But I'm more emotionally drained as I'm dealing with like child custody issues.
Ooh.
Mm.
But the one thing I'll say is that every day I'll be dealing with a particular case and I'll be like superimposing my life onto it and thinking how horrible that would be. And so I'll send Raquel a quick text and be like, I love you so much. It makes me much nicer to Raquel.
Reality check. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
it's good.
and I've lost track. I know you pulled the plug. Pull the plug. Is that the right term? Yeah, that's the right term. Trust me. Yeah, it is. I've been married 25 years. So anyway,
plug. That's like
Let it die.
Pop the question. I know. But anyway, when is the wedding? I've lost track.
At some point. So we got engaged on her birthday because I figure what's a better birthday gift for someone than me? That was January of this last year. Don't laugh so hard. It's not that funny.
I can't help it. It's pretty funny.
So we've we're not in neither of us are in a big rush. Like we're going to be one of those couples, I think, that's engaged for a while. Mm-hmm. And there's not like family pressure or anything like that. So, I mean, sooner rather than later, I think. And this isn't like me being a guy that's like, oh, I'm afraid to commit. We're engaged. We have a kid together. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so board game question. Have either of you had a chance to play Tiny Epic Western yet?
No. It's sitting on my bench, still wrapped up in its Kickstarter packaging that it came. It's actually, the weight of it's perfect for flattening out my special project I'm doing for the mat for Strike. And I have not opened it up yet. But I did.
Strike into it.
First mention, Baseball 2045, first mention.
So let me see here, because I did... I kickstarted it. Alex got his copy already. Mm-hmm. I haven't even gotten a shipping notification. Let me see if I missed it. He brought it to our Dukes of Dice game night on Wednesday night, and he played it twice, but I was always doing something else. No, I still don't have my shipping notification.
They fulfilled. They sent out the message, I think, on Wednesday, saying that everything had fulfilled.
Yeah, they said if you haven't gotten your shipping notification by, I think it was midday yesterday,
then you forfeit all rights.
Yeah, exactly.
They gave the game away to someone else.
Yeah, so I guess I'm sending Michael an email.
It's good.
Yeah, it looks really good. I'm really excited to play it. In fact, Alex is like, "Well, do you want to borrow my copy over the weekend?" I'm like, "No, mine should probably be here. So yeah, don't worry about it." And now I'm like, "Dang it, man!"
And with 2 hours to spare, I backed the black for Galaxies. So I was like, I'm forgetting something. I'm like, oh crap! And so I went out there and did that. But now, in all honesty, I would never step on Alex's turf with first mention there. I know he just sent a little thing there. Seafall. We have not secured a group yet to venture into Seafall. I haven't had a chance to play it. Have you guys?
No, I'm nervous about that one. There have been so many negative reviews. I haven't picked it up yet.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna skip it. I think I'm just gonna totally skip it. I was subscribed to Seafall on BGG for the last 2.5 years because they announced it really early,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, all right, well, this sounds really cool. And I've been reading a lot of the updates, and then when it finally started coming out, and I mean, Shut Up and Sit Down kind of panned it, and a bunch of other people kind of panned it. It's I love legacy games. I think Rob Daviau is a brilliant designer. If it plays a little bit too much like Merchants and Marauders, which I'm not crazy about, then I don't know that a legacy style game is gonna kind of smooth that over for me. And if there are indeed some problems, I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see, or maybe just pass altogether. And it's too bad because it's something that I was really excited for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I have Pandemic Legacy still sitting on the shelf waiting for a group to play through it. I have Imperial Assault, same thing. And I had Descent, and I recently just traded away because I thought I can't have 3 campaign games essentially sitting on my shelf doing nothing. So at least now I only have 2. So the idea of getting a third one that I probably wouldn't even like was just, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. And I understand that. And then when Mechs versus Minions comes out, it's another type of campaign series. And I mean, like I said last night, when my wife looks at me, she goes, if it wasn't so late, let's go ahead and open up next mission. Let's go. And I'm like, wow. I didn't expect that. But Pandemic Legacy, what is it still doing on your shelf, dude? Just grab people. Just go to the corner and bring them in. What is wrong?
I just found, so my wife and I are obviously ready to play. I just found a third person, so we've got our group and we're going to start here in the next few weeks. So, aye, Tony.
Thank you. Don't disappoint. I mean, Pandemic Cthulhu. Marty just got that, and he's going to be playing that. And I did not order Pandemic Cthulhu. I'm sorry. I'm a purist on Pandemic, but I know, Sean, you liked it, and I'm hesitant with that. So Pandemic in the lab versus, you said you've never played the expansions. That's what I'm kind of curious about. If you had played the expansions, how you would compare them.
No. I've played On the Brink, and I've played what was the first and second? I know On the Brink was one of the two.
On the Brink was number 2. In the Lab was number 3, and State of Emergency was number 4.
See,
oh my gosh, I can quote them. That's unusual.
What's the first expansion then?
On the Brink.
So that's the second release. So that's what you're saying. 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I've played On the Brink, and I've played portions of State of Emergency because it's modules, right? In State of Emergency. Mm-hmm. I mean, and On the Brink too. And
what is happening?
I liked it well enough. I mean, I do want to try In the Lab because I know it completely changes the whole curing system. You've got the lab board. So yeah, I'm curious to try that. But I mean, yeah, if you listen to the review that we did last week, for my money, for like teaching new players, I feel like this was a lot easier of a teach. And if they like Cthulhu or like horror stuff, then that might appeal to them as well. Although a lot of people may not know. They're like, how do you say this? Cthulhu? I don't know.
Yeah. So you're going to be really disappointed then, Tony, when you find out that season 2 of Pandemic is season 2 Cthulhu.
Oh man, that would be sweet.
I wouldn't hate that. I'm not a Cthulhu fan, but that would be interesting.
What Pandemic Legacy? Don't even. I'm still under an NDA. I'm under an NDA. So anyway, well, I mean, Benjamin's telling us that his buds, they learned it and they all liked it. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. And then, I mean, anything that brings Pandemic back to the table on Marty would work for me. I mean, I'm loving it. And that was a squirrel, by the way, that approached the camera.
I saw that. I couldn't figure out at first if it was Pikachu or a squirrel.
Oh, Pikachu. No, I don't have Pikachu's bud around here. I'm checking. Okay. So you're going to BGG Con. Are you going, Derek?
No, I won't be there.
Okay. So Sean, you keep Marty straight. Okay.
I will do that. I will.
Is Alex? Alex isn't going, is he? Yeah, Marty's going, and I cannot make it. And is Alex going?
Alex is probably going. He may have a limited window. Like he may come out a little bit late and have to leave a little bit early. So basically, he'll be there just Friday night. No, just kidding. but not really. I think he would come out like Wednesday night and then leave like midday Saturday or something like that. Because normally he gets Thursday, Friday off, so he might be able to finagle that. But I'm super excited for BGG. It's such a great con. For me, it's inexpensive to get to because the tickets to Dallas are usually pretty cheap. The venue's great, and I'm excited. I'm excited for 2019 because I guess was it they're doubling the size or tripling the size? Did you guys hear about that?
No, I did not hear about that. No. Are they moving it away from the airport?
I think it's still a Hyatt, and I'm not sure if it's a completely different venue or it's additional access. It might have to be a different venue because I feel like that hotel is really compact. Like they fit a lot of stuff into that hotel, and so it might have to be a whole new venue. I think it's still a Hyatt, if I remember correctly. So I'm pretty excited for that. Not because, I mean, it's a good size. What is it, like 3,000, 3,500?
That attend?
That attend? Yeah.
I thought it was like 1,200.
I don't know. I thought it was bigger than that.
It doesn't matter. It was a small venue. They're getting a new one. They'll have good food. You don't have to get an Uber that doesn't return you because you went and did an escape room. And then anyway, that's another story. But it was fun.
So Tony, is there any chance that you and Marty might ever come out to Dice Tower Con?
As you know, get one a year. And as you know, next year I'm going out your way to the Rocky Mountain Gaming Vacation.
Oh.
And I am so excited for that, to bring in hiking, exploring that area. I know Alex was there. He posted some incredible nature pictures.
Yes.
Alex, there are people, you can include those in your pictures, but that's okay. And it was, I'm really excited about that. And then the other problem is, Sean, next year's a big year. I mean, some of us are turning fairly old, and my wife and I are both hitting that half-century mark, and then of course we have our 25th anniversary. So we've got some fairly large vacations planned that unfortunately are going to eat away all my vacation.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense.
But to answer your question, because I didn't, is yes, eventually we'll get there.
It's a fun con. It has that same kind of feel as BGG. Because it's about the same size. And Derek, you were supposed to go this year. Is that in the cards for next year?
Dice Tower Con?
Yeah.
I hope so, but at this point, I know I'm going to Heavy Con, which is Memorial Day weekend, and then I just have to figure out if it's possible for us to take a family vacation. Time off's not really the issue. I have 3-day weekends every week, and I get 4 weeks of vacation a year plus Christmas. So,
nice.
So that's not really an issue. It's just the money to actually get there is sometimes problematic.
Sure.
So I'm trying to decide if it's either that or BGG Con. And I think most of the people I know are a little bit more inclined to head to BGG Con. So I'll probably, if I can do that, I'll do that. So.
And what's your 27 plan, sir?
What's my plan? 2017 plan. So, I mean, obviously, Rocky Mountain Gaming Vacation. In fact, we just had Mike Candovan, who runs that. He was on our this last podcast we recorded because he is a Duke level Patreon supporter, much like Derek. And so he got to do an episode. We recorded our top 6 travel games, some of which will be a surprise. But we also kind of talked about the gaming vacation thing. So I'm very excited because I know Alex had a blast this last year. So I'm very excited for that. Dice Tower Con, I'm hoping Gen Con, and BGG. So 4? Wow. That's a lot.
So does Food Chain Magnate count as a travel game? I fit it all into a plastic bag and brought it with me.
I didn't include that on my list. I guess, spoiler alert. Although I have traveled with both Food Chain Magnate and Arkwright. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Arkwright.
Well, see, the thing is, when you have the insert for Arkwright, and then to go to a copy that doesn't have the insert, For Meeple Realty. Sorry, one of our sponsors. Or wait, our sponsor, our only sponsor. Ignore that. The only sponsor.
Lies.
More details to follow.
A public announcement at this point? No.
Nope.
No, but what? Say what?
Details to follow this week.
So yeah, I think you're going to tell us who you sold your soul to, huh?
Nope.
Okay. So I'll hear about this off air. And you're not going. Are you pleading the fifth, sir? Can we put you on the stand?
The Meeple Realty insert for Arkwright's really cool because it has like the 100 pawns. Tony, would you ever play Arkwright?
Yes, I will play any game, even a social deduction with bamboo shoots up my fingernails. Okay. So if maybe Suzanne can let us borrow her Mayday Mayday copy, and we can play that, and I can go all daddy voice on people. But yeah, I'll play any game. I'll play Arkwright. Food Chain Magnet. I'll play Baseball 2045. Second mention. I will play. I just had to. Anything. Put it on the table. I'm going to see if I can. Look through mine and maybe we can play one of my favorite worker placement games, Pillars of the Earth. I've got my bit box ready to go. I'm so excited for this.
Do you have, just out of curiosity, do you have the Pillars of the Earth expansion?
Yes, I do.
Man.
So I was in this small gaming store in Columbia, South Carolina, and it was like, that holy light came down, and I walk in and they're sitting on the shelf, and I'm like, is that what I think it is? And sure enough, it was right there. I said, this is a no-brainer. It was kind of like when I walked in the store and found for Marty the StarCraft expansion Brood Wars for his StarCraft game. And it was just like, man, how is this thing sitting here?
So have you played with it yet, with the expansion?
Yes, Pillars of the Earth expansion, love it.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and here I'm trying to pull it up on eBay. How much would you pay for it?
MSRP. Do you not know me? I'm cheap.
Pillars of.
I've never played this game.
The base game's really good. It's really cool. And I think it holds up.
I was about to get lectured by Tony.
That's okay. I'll let you go. Pillars, I mean, at least it's, think of it like if you've never read the book, that's why I enjoy playing it. I've read all the books by Ken Follett. And from that standpoint, it is like Lords of the Waterdeep, It's one of those, it's a good worker placement game. I enjoy it. Pull the things out.
I don't even see the expansion on eBay.
I think it was going for like $125 2 months ago because somebody was trying to buy it and they were asking me if I would pay that, and I said, "Heck no." There's too many other good worker placement games. You can move on. Trust me.
Yep.
But
anyway,
all right.
Yes. So yes, we will definitely be recording. Sean and I, we will sit down and record something out there at Rocky Mountain Gaming Vacation. We got to do that. Yeah,
it would be a waste of an opportunity not to.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward to teaching you old card games. Now, wasn't there a card game that we both played? It wasn't Euchre? Did you mentioned it on one of your shows and I can't remember. Spades, oh hell.
I mean, I've played Spades, I've played Euchre, I've played Pinochle. I probably couldn't teach any of those right now, but okay. I've played them.
Derek, do you play any old card games?
I've played Spades and Pinochle. I tend to try to avoid partner trick-taking games because to me it's like playing doubles ping pong with one person that's not very good and the other person that is, and it's just an exercise in futility. And I'm the bad partner. So I don't like that feeling of the other person looking at me like, why did you just play that card? How stupid are you? And I said, I'm apparently this stupid. But, so they're not my favorite kinds of games, but they're all right.
Okay. I understand.
I feel the way about them that you do about social deduction, I think.
Wow, that's a lot of distaste. I understand. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we don't play a lot of Tichu anymore, which has the partners, but we do play Chimera. which is kind of a 3-player Tichu, where you swap every now. So 2 people will be on a team trying to beat the third person, the Chimera. And I feel like, and we play that a lot because it's a great game. But it's only 3 players, and every time you play a card, everyone is just making a snarky comment like, "Really, really? Thanks, teammate. Good job. Way to go." And usually it's me making that comment. I'm usually criticizing people because I'm
brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Really? Don't you know exactly what's been played and what happened? God.
How low is your IQ? My goodness.
So yeah, those can certainly be stressful when you don't know what you're doing and you're like, "Oh, this seems like a fine play," and then someone yells at you.
Yeah.
Now I do have an important question for you, Sean. Are you ready for it?
Let's bring it on.
Bring it on. So, are you, and I'm willing and going to host an award for the Squirrelies again this coming year?
Oh, absolutely. Well,
okay.
we didn't host an award. We were the accounting agency.
And you failed miserably. You left the freaking ballots in the Uber.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, here's the thing. So you hire a news reporter and an attorney to be your accounting agency. That just seems like gross mismanagement to me. So I don't know what you expected.
I'm sorry. I figured an attorney could at least figure out how to pull ballots and confidentiality and things like that. And someone. And a news reporter could at least report on how it was done. But yes, okay, excellent. So yes, good. So I'm going to pencil y'all in, and we will definitely have another. And we really did appreciate you guys doing that. That was a fun show, and y'all did a great job, a great segment for that. Derek, I don't know if you know, that was pure. That was Sean's brilliance coming through in that. I said, Sean, you're the guys who do the accounting for the awards. Make it fun. Bam, there it was.
Boom. Well, no, I appreciate you thought of us, and it was fun, and it was just such a cool concept that you guys came up with. Because I mean, no one's done anything like that, and it was just it was a very fun, different show, different than what people might expect. So I really like that. That was really cool.
Yeah, you never know what's going to hit the floor with us. I'm just saying. But that's okay. No, but I mean, and we've got to come up with something to make fun of Steven again, and of course Ignacy, and oh, what do you think about the new? I mean, you talked about Essen, and I was remiss. Robinson Crusoe. What are you guys thinking here?
So 2 years ago, I got Robinson Crusoe at the Dice Tower Con flea market, and I've yet to play it. And then this last Dice Tower Con, I got Voyage of the Beagle at the Dice Tower Con flea market, and it still haven't played it. So now I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy another one. I'm not going to buy a new updated edition. But apparently, it's going to clean up the rules a bit, and that's kind of what's been keeping me off playing. Is I didn't want to really trudge through the rules, so to speak.
Yeah, and the rules are available online, so I can use them with my old edition. That's kind of what I'm planning on doing.
Do you know that though? Is that are there any major component changes?
I think other than just component upgrades, I don't think there are component changes. Not that I know of, anyway. Just art changes.
I might look into that some more because I mean, I don't want to get a new set, having not even played the game at this point. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, there's a reason I picked it up, but
yeah, and I think that since the Mars game is coming out, that's supposed to be built off the same system, kind of. If I'm going to buy a quote unquote new edition, I would just get that and play that instead. So I think that's kind of where I'm leaning with that one.
Oh, yeah. The Mars. Wow. So when Marty and I sat down with Ignacy and we played that, and we of course beat it, and he really did. We weren't kidding on our show when he looked at us and said, "How this game is too easy if you two beat it." He literally looked at us, and I'm like, "Gee, thanks." And I'm like, okay, that board, if it comes together like he's got it laid out with the colors and everything, it is going to just grab you, and it's going to bring everybody into that game. I'm really excited about that as well.
Yeah.
But of course, we won't get to see it in the app. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So over on the chat, Marty's saying that for the Squirrelies next year, you guys are gonna have real trophies.
Yes, we
Real
will.
trophies.
Yeah, we will. We'll probably I will get out to the workshop and probably do some cutout squirrels and paste them onto wood and make them as cheap as possible to reflect the show there. Or we may be able to get to the Broken Token. Now, did we just have Antimatter Collide here? We had our two sponsors of inserts mentioned on the same show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're both in violation of our contracts, and we have to scrub this episode from the internet.
It's out there. All of the high peak of 10 people watching, I think we're golden.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I have no issues with sponsors.
What's that?
I have no issues with sponsors.
I have no other comments.
Okay, so Marty's constantly streaming now. I'll appreciate that. I was really hoping Troll Zan was going to jump on here and really give us a hard.
Yeah, well, that's Suzanne for you. She was kind of threatening to come on and troll us on Twitter, but I mean that's just typical all talk Suzanne. No follow through. You can't really hold her to anything. She's like the wind, like the Patrick Swayze song.
Oh man. Wow.
I'm gonna pay for that later.
Yes, you will. You are. Speaking of stepping on people's turf, stay off the songs. Huey Lewis and the News. Stay off. No, you don't bring it here. Don't even bring it here. I laughed so
hard I pulled my earbud out.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
Oh yeah. I'm saying everything.
But apparently they're only Huey Lewis and the News songs.
Okay.
You have a very limited episode.
Have you guys had a Huey Lewis and the News episode title?
No, but we will. There is no doubt about that because we'll be working for the living, and things like that. Oh, I will find a way to get a Huey Lewis in for the next one for the big shout out. So,
yeah, that was a shot across the bow. He's got to fire back, Sean.
Well, so it's awesome because we have our guild help name the episodes, and I feel like Marty, if you're still listening, I feel like there were shots fired a couple months ago when you're like when he was telling you not to farm stuff out to the guilds and to do the work yourself. And it's like, hey, that's where most of our best ideas come from. Like, we wouldn't have half of our show if it weren't for the guild.
and I understand that. And when I did that, I was like, I'm really not. I'm not want to copy them, but let's give it a shot. But you're right. The BGG guilds, both the Dukes of Dice and the RDTN guild, all the guilds on BGG, they are just so supportive, and they come up with some great topics to discuss. I mean, for some odd reason, we congregate towards food. We just do. But it's amazing how that works, and people really do. And I think about it from our shows. If it wasn't for that, it'd be like, okay, what do we come up with now? And they're throwing topics at us constantly. I mean, just the names for your guys' shows. You could spend an hour talking about names that people were able to put together and pull together. It's amazing. I gave up.
There's usually a pretty heated discussion about which name we're going to go with. Derek, you've seen that. You've been part of that when we were naming the episode that you were on, and so we spend a lot of time each week fighting over which are the good names to use, which is better than it used to be because we used to just fight over which are the crappy names that we came up with, which were pretty bad. So crowdsourcing.
You guys get some good names.
What's that?
You guys have some good names. It works out well for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from the standpoint of that's we do songs, and the only reason why we started out not doing songs, and then suddenly it just became the thing. It's pure laziness on my part. It really is. And I'm thinking like, what are we talking about? I'm just type in Google real quick. Google's an amazing tool. We're going to be talking about Mechs versus Minions. Well, that one was simple. That was Iron Man.
Okay.
That one was too easy. But then you start doing like the next one that we got coming out this Tuesday. We're going to be talking, along the lines of a War Machine, Tanks by Gale Force 9. We played Guild Ball. And then, of course, we also did Empire's Galactic Conquest, Eagle Griffin Games. We're going to talk about that. We're reintroducing our 5-minute initiative where we do that quick review, which you guys do as well. And just so I'm like, what does all that come to? And I found the song and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't use that song. It was about the Panzer Blitz. I'm like, but it's a heavy metal song. I'm like, oh, well, whatever. So, it's not that hard, but I agonize over it. So I applaud you, sir. Great use of the tools.
Yeah. So speaking of War Machine, I played, and I don't want you to talk too much about it because I don't want to step on your toes for when the episode comes out of yours next week. But I played a lot of War Machine back in first edition. Mm-hmm. And then a buddy of ours, Jeremy, was like, hey, do you want to start playing some War Machine? And I'm like, no, I don't. And so I just bought a Khador starter box. Mm-hmm. And we'll see how that goes, see how third edition goes. I don't know what your thoughts are. Did you play first edition?
We played second edition, did not play first edition. And third edition, just a little preview is, the models, they've gone away from the pewter type metal.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really cool that the colors are of whichever, like I was doing Signar, so they were blue, mm-hmm. and Marty was the circle and he was green. So it was easy to distinguish your models. But overall it's still the same cast, Right. So what did I think about it? It's War Machine. It still is. They've not dummy down's a very bad word. They've made the rules more accessible, and it's quicker to get engaged, being able to place the Fury tokens out there, or I can't even think of it. I played Trolls for so long. I crossed between Hordes and War Machine constantly, and I enjoyed it. Marty, we both enjoyed it, but I will say, Tanks, wow. If you haven't played Gale Force 9 Tanks yet and you like miniatures, wow, that was fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of hesitant to jump too much into miniatures. I'm in my basement, which is like literally the only basement in all of Albuquerque because no one has basements here. It's really weird that we happen to have a basement. And so on one half of the basement is the Dukes of Dice recording area. We've got our video side on one half, and then the audio studio on the other side. And then the other half is full of 40K fantasy stuff. Let me just show you how crazy this is, because it's really crazy. Hold on. Let me see what I can do here. All right.
Wow, that's like
point it right into the light.
Oh no! What just happened? Am I back?
No, you're not back.
Wait. Okay, so.
Wow, that looks amazing.
So Derek,
I know it's okay. So
while he gets it working there.
So it's kind of hard to tell, but on those back shelves, those are all like the GW figure cases, the Sable Army transports. There's a bunch in there. There's a couple thousand Magic cards, and then all of those other boxes are filled with sprues, like sprues of 40K and fantasy and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I don't ever need to give GW my money again.
But you might anyway.
I'm hoping. Well, I've got enough. So I've got another buddy who we're talking about playing 40K, but last edition or 2 editions ago, I think, because I don't like the new rule set, the last 2 rule sets. So, Derek, do you have any miniature gaming experience?
Nope, that is one road I will not travel. Board games are enough.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a good way to. It's something. It's a good 2-on-2. I mean, 2-on-2, 1v1. I know there's plenty of games that like Stronghold and all that, but I mean, it's different. It's kind of neat. I mean, did you play Star Wars Attack Wing? Not Attack Wing. I'd see X-Wing. Good gosh.
Yeah. I've got X-Wing. I've got Armada. Derek, have you done any of those?
I played it with my brother. I bought it for him for Christmas, knowing that I shouldn't probably start down that road, and so he's gone far enough for the both of us.
Well, and so that's why, like with you and Marty, Tony, I'm always surprised how much of the lifestyle stuff you guys can get into, like with the LCGs and things like that. Because I feel like when I was playing Netrunner a lot, I wasn't playing board games, and I don't know how that balance works for you guys.
Well, it was fairly easy when we would like meet for lunch. We could do that, and we had a very strong community. Now, Arkham Horror probably is going to take over our lives again, but still get into board games. I mean, when we get together and play, it's like 4 to 5 hours because I'm allowed out of the house at that point, and so I have to grab onto every minute that I get, and so it's cool. So, it is a lifestyle, but unfortunately, Netrunner has gone by the wayside. That's still a great game. Wow.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I wish I could keep up with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of those, so Derek, I know you're a big fan of Warhammer Adventure Card Game.
Mm-hmm.
How did the GW Fantasy Flight split?
I mean, I don't know. I was disappointed they released 2 expansions, and then I didn't even get a chance to grab them, and then now I can't find them anywhere. I don't know. I mean, I kind of figured when they released that game that was basically just like the tee up before an expansion. I mean, I felt like any other day that would have been, here's the base game and an expansion a month later. Right. And so when it didn't happen, I kind of figured something funky was going on. Either they weren't selling enough, which I didn't think was the case, or something with the licensing was off. And so I kind of just stopped playing it with the assumption that it was probably not going to stick around. So I have it up for trade now, unfortunately.
Oh, do you?
But yeah, I mean, I have enough Lord of the Rings stuff too that I want to get to, and I like that game kind of equally. Doesn't have exploding dice, which is one of my favorite things about Warhammer ACG, but it happens. So I'm not attached enough to it, and so I'll just hold on to it until it's really rare, and then trade it off for way more than it's worth.
Nice.
That's my plan, but it was unfortunate.
So Derek, you love your Lord of the Rings, huh?
I do. Yeah. I don't get enough chance to play it. And you have to be in the mood to be abused to play that game, which isn't always the case, but yeah, I do like that game.
Oh, it is. It's a fun game. And that's the other thing about the Arkham. I enjoy the fact that it is a single player game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, I think Fantasy Flight's obviously in good shape. They're under the Asmodee umbrella. They've got Star Wars. They've got, all of their Lovecraft stuff and their Runebound stuff or Terranoth stuff. So I think they're in okay shape. But I'm super bummed for Forbidden Stars because I love that game, and I was really excited for more expansions.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were bummed. I never got a chance to play it, but I kept waiting to hear about that one too and was surprised. I'm just really hoping that they'll kind of reskin the system for Warhammer ACG for Forbidden Stars and just grab into the Terranoth world and say, hey, let's just re-release it. Hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, we will see. Bummer.
Now, Sean, I'm going to ask you this because I'm fixing to dip the old piggy toe into this water. I'm going to be doing GMing for Adventures in Middle Earth for the group. Yeah. And so y'all said you talk a little bit about RPGs, but I know with your background, what hints or tips can you give me here that I need to do?
Well, okay. So I think the biggest thing is everyone just needs to be on the same page.
No, that's not going to happen.
Because as a GM, you need to set expectations of we're going to follow every single rule by the letter, or we're not. I'm just going to kind of fudge things that's going to make the best experience for everyone. And I've played with some groups where it's like, no, you need every single detailed rule followed to the T, and others where they'd rather just see that good story. So I think if everyone's expectations are on the same page and you're setting those expectations, I think that's important. I enjoy both ways to play, because like some systems are a lot more mechanics intensive, like 3.5 and Pathfinder tend to be, whereas other like storytelling games or even like the old World of Darkness stuff, I felt were much more about just the story that you're telling. Mm-hmm. I also think that because it's going to be like newer players, or more experienced players.
It depends. It's whoever we can trick into coming and showing up.
Okay, so one thing I noticed with a lot more inexperienced players is there's always a hesitation to act. So you're like, okay, so here's the situation. There's 20 goblins coming at you. What are you going to do? And they all just kind of sit there. So I always like to just not give them that opportunity while they're a couple minutes go by and they're hemming and hawing. All of a sudden, one of them just gets stabbed and is bleeding out, and they have to. So now it's like, okay, you have to act now. And I even make it kind of real time. Like you don't have time to think. Someone needs to do something now.
Right.
So, which is why when I'm playing, I tend to play a character that is makes very rash decisions. Because is it rash or brash? Rash.
They could do brash decisions. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like here, I'm going to give you my fungus. Even though that's not how I would prefer to play a character, because it keeps moving the action along. And I think if you can minimize downtime as a GM, I think that's the biggest trick to it. And I think it's always more important that like you spend as little time like looking up a rule, just fudge it and keep the action going. I think that's my biggest tip.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, I'm not a great GM. I think I'm a competent GM. I'm not a great GM. Competent.
I think part of it is, and I'm surprised by you saying that because of the excitement, bringing the excitement to the table, engaging the people, because you are a storyteller, and that's really what you're doing there. So I appreciate your advice. I got my notes here. I'm good to go on that.
Okay.
I like that.
I think I say that because I've been exposed to some phenomenal GMs.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal. My buddy Darren, he runs Imperial Outpost, which is the shop that I spent my 20s in out in Phoenix. He is just an incredible GM, and he'll come up with these incredible campaigns on the fly, and his descriptions are excellent. He has different voices, and he is just so quick on his feet. And he's kind of the standard of what I think of like with incredible GMs. I've been kind of liking more of these storytelling games of late, which are a lot more collaborative, I feel like. But I'm hankering for some D&D. I've got the Ravenloft book, and that might be something we do pretty soon.
I mean, the world is just so rich, and that's one of the worlds that Marty and I really enjoy because of, Lord of the Rings trading card game by Decipher, what got us really kicked off here. But so it's going to be interesting to see. Now, when we were doing the War Machine Iron Kingdoms campaigns, I'll never forget, I was GMing, and I'm talking to the guys, and from the standpoint, so I introduced puzzles, simple little puzzles for them to solve. And the first comment back to me was, I just want to kill stuff. I'm like, oh. So
and that's what I mean with that, kind of setting expectations, because it really depends. Some groups just kind of want a tactical combat experience, and some want a mystery that plays out and things to solve. And so it really just depends. I like the Iron Kingdom setting. I've never played in a campaign. I've done about 3 or 4 one-shots at different conventions, but I like the setting a lot.
Yeah, I did too, and I hate that we just couldn't keep it going. So we're going to give another. But I do. I enjoyed the Iron King. I enjoyed that rule book. Of course, they've got the rich history and the art behind it, so that was fun. So, but yeah, I can't wait.
In your Middle Earth game, when is it taking place?
It's to be determined. I got the books aren't out yet by Cubicle 7, so I've got to go there, and I believe it is. If I remember some of the, I haven't read it all yet. Wow, okay, I've read a page. I'll be honest, but I think it is at the time of the fellowship on the
Okay.
trick. And if that's the case, then we can go with the uprising and bleed into, where the forces of evil are beginning to swell up. And if it's not, then maybe it is now, because I'm going to make it that way.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
Well, no, it doesn't, but you're being kind. Thank you.
No, it does. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I mean, that's. I feel like that's the time that most people would be familiar with anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to do like some first age, second age stuff, like that would be. But people are like, "Wait, what? Who are these people?"
Yeah, let me bring out Turin, from the very start. People always
Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna derail the conversation. If
Please
you
do,
were done.
squirrel.
So I have to ask this question because I've been wondering. Everyone kind of has their shtick with games. Like Sean tends to be kind of the heavy Euro guy. Alex tends to be a little bit lighter. Most media people have their kind of niche of games. Other than Strike, what is your kind of and what's your game of choice? Like style of game?
I do enjoy the worker placement games, but for me, I think a lot of it is not so much style, it's time. I look at it is very hard for me to say I'm going to commit 4 to 5 hours. I like those. My sweet spot is an hour to an hour and a half of a game, and I enjoy playing those. And if I want my wife and all to play, it's got to be co-op. There's no other way around it. Though I'm hoping and looking on your shelves, and I know Sean has this, Fields of Arle. I can't wait to teach her that.
It's so good.
I know it is. Oh, so and I'm dabbling. I'm beginning to dabble, and Sean mentioned this on his last show. GMT. I've got Silent Victory. I'm going back and I'm trying to pick up a copy of Midway from a gentleman. God, I can't even think of who made the Midway game I'm looking at. But looking at some of the GMT games, Marty has the Coin series, so we are starting because we go back in history to back when I was in my early young teen years, 13, 14. I'll never forget going into a toy store, and there was an Avalon Hill Panzer Leader. And I pulled that bad boy and I bought that with my own money and I took it home. I had no clue what was inside that box. I opened it up and that game went back on my shelf. But I always look for it. I always want to buy it just to see if I remember it as glorious as it was back when I was 12.
Awesome.
But that's it. I mean, I went all around you. I love all games. Actually, Derek, it is the social interaction. It's amazing. I love what this hobby thing that we're doing here is providing. I mean, where else can you go to a con and sit down at a table with a bunch of strangers and you all have one love of playing games? It's amazing.
It is.
And I'm meeting incredible people. I mean, look at you two right here. I would have met another one.
I agree.
I would have met another one, but no, he had to work.
So speaking of people that are unavailable right now, do you like that segue? Suzanne tweeted, she says, I'm out and about, but I want to know how Tony keeps his show organized. Is that some kind of dig or something?
Actually, we used to post our agendas. We would have an agenda, and of course, I have the show notes, and we have a Google Drive set up, and we have the spreadsheet with all the upcoming guests and what we're going to be talking about. I have a spreadsheet that lists all the shows, so I don't repeat the name of the shows again, and Anthony Ricano doesn't jump all over me for it. So that's how I keep it organized. Now, I'm hoping that Miss Suzanne will eventually come back on and we'll get a little chit chat going. I've secured someone else to go in with her and do that segment again. But Sean, I don't know how you feel, and Derek, I mean, you do it as well. I feel bad asking people because they're so busy. Everybody's so busy in their life. I always feel, can you be on my podcast? You just feel hard,
Yeah.
I'm happy I'm here with you guys. It worked out. That's incredible.
No, yeah, I kind of get that feeling too sometimes. And like I know when I'm asked to be on something, I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely, like that's cool. I mean, and obviously I'm busy too, and I have to kind of work into a schedule and make it fit. But yeah, I get kind of that same feeling as well. So Derek, I'm interested, kind of that same question to you with your evolving reviews, because you're reviewing the same game over a period of time. Do you know exactly how many you're going to do, or you just kind of wait and see how it evolves?
I set it at 10, though that's probably going to change here soon. I'm probably going to reduce it down to 7. I just kind of set that as an arbitrary number to give a game enough time, let it kind of ruminate before I make a final decision. So yeah, I just set it arbitrarily at 10, so I know I have about 5 games that I'm going to be looking at per year. Though that'll go up to 7 if I switch it. It's an easy way for me to know exactly what I need to focus my attention on to kind of solve that problem of what do I really have the time to do? Well, if I'm really only looking at these 5 to 7 games, then I know exactly what I have to focus on. So it makes it a little bit easier.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. And actually, I got to scoot. My son just woke up from his nap. So, but it was good meeting you, Tony.
It's nice meeting you, Derek. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and I understand about a nap. I'm at that stage too.
All right, guys. Have a great afternoon.
All right, Derek. Later, buddy. So other question from Suzanne here.
What is this remote questioning crap?
Well, no, people can ask on Twitter. I mean, she's supposed to use the hashtag DODQA, but she doesn't understand how Twitter works that well. So I'll forgive her for that. I'm going to pay for that one later too.
Yes, you are.
What was your favorite episode of RDTN?
Oh, she's asking me.
Yeah.
Well, up until recently, probably one of my favorite episodes is when we had Matt Leacock and Rob on at the same time.
Oh yeah.
For Pandemic Legacy. That's one of those things, and Sean, you know about this, is when you get a designer on that you've followed and you enjoy their games and you're talking to them and you're just like, oh my gosh,
right.
And those two guys, they're incredible guys. And we sometimes forget just how human they are. Ignacy is so funny. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. He's got a great wit. Absolutely.
And just think if I could speak Polish, I bet it's even funnier because he doesn't have to translate it. So yeah, but episode 100, without a doubt, to pull that off was amazing. And just everything that hit the floor. Suzanne knows what I'm talking about. It was a night. I did need Advil that night. What about you? What's one of your favorite, Dukes of Dice after 117 now?
112?
112?
112 on Monday. How about that? So I think our Mike Fitzgerald, our first Mike Fitzgerald episode where, it was our first interview with him, our first time really talking with him, and just a great friendship has kind of grown out of that. Mm-hmm. And, we hang out at BGG Con, we hang out at Dice Tower Con. He came out here to Albuquerque for Baseball Highlights tournament. So that was a really cool episode. And also Baseball Highlights 2045, 12th mention, has just kind of become such part of the show's kind of DNA. And Alex likes it obviously a lot more than I do. I love the game. I think it's fantastic, but it's obviously his favorite game. And it's just become such a part of the DNA of the show in ways that some of my other favorite games haven't. Like, as much as I love Kemet or Terra Mystica, or Tzolk'in, or maybe Tzolk'in was kind of part of the DNA in the early days, but I don't know. I think it's cool, and it kind of all started there. So that's probably for episode 47. Run Robot Run was the episode title. I remember that.
Oh man, so, I bet. Yeah, I enjoyed it. When Mike signed my Diamonds box, I was so giddy.
Alex just mentioned on the chat, Kemet, first mention.
I've played it. I played it with Rodney at BGG last year, and that I can understand the love for that game.
Yeah.
For area control game, if you're not a big fan of it, it didn't feel that way, and for some odd reason, I don't know why to me, but it was a great experience. I enjoyed it.
Oh, it's such a great game. Yeah. Well, obviously, if it's my number one game, I obviously would think that.
So, and now if you remember last year, I mentioned to you that you and I need to do a video series. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah. What happened with that?
Life. Can you imagine if it was going to be rules lawyer and we were going to review rule books? Because I love that segment on your show when y'all talk about rule books, because they are such the unsung heroes of board games.
Man, when there's a good one, I mean, you can feel it. You can feel like the pieces clicking together when it's a good rule book. And when it's not, oh boy.
Oh boy. And anytime that I look at it and you pull out a rule book and it's like, okay, time to go to BGG, then there's a problem, you know?
Yeah.
And we were playing a game the other night and I'm like, wait a minute, a rule is in setup. Oh, that just drives me insane.
Yeah. I've come across that a couple times. That's really annoying. Or a lot of times they'll use like those boxes for like a reminder. And so you don't expect to actually find a rule in the reminder. And then sometimes it's only there in the reminder. And that's annoying too.
Yeah. I'm part of the Envoy system. I don't know if you know what that is. But I was having to certify in Stronghold and they asked me a question about a rule. And I'm like, I don't know that one. And they go, well, it's at the bottom of the setup page. I'm like, oh, you kidding me? Really? That's unreal. So, but yeah, I mean that, or better yet, we could do a dramatic reading of the rules, convert them over to old Shakespeare for, the objective of the game is to score the most victory points. Points can best score by claiming a route between two adjacent cities on the mapeth,
I'm sure that would go viral. That would go viral, I'm sure.
Maybe only if we were like Berkey dressed in some costume or something.
Right. Have you seen the Star Wars that have been written into Shakespearean writing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's unreal. But,
yeah, I've got them upstairs. They're pretty cool.
Oh man, just some of that stuff. So let's see. You're going to BGG Con.
Yep.
You've got next year Dice Tower Con, Rocky Mountain Gaming Vacation. Just amazing stuff. How are you finding time to do all that, man? You got a possible wedding coming up. You've got family. You produce a podcast every week. How are you doing it? Where's the clone? With the replicator. Where's the replicator?
Multiplicity. I can use a couple Michael Keatons. So that's a good question. I think one of the big things is that for both Alex and I, figuring out a recording has always been a priority. Like we normally record Saturday mornings, but like if something's coming up and we know Alex needs to be out of town for a weekend, or I need to be out of town, or I've got something going on, like we still make it happen somehow. Whether that means that we record early or we record late or whatever, we make it happen. And so that was something that we didn't decide on. Like we didn't say, oh, well, we're going to this convention or whatever, so we'll just skip it. We'll skip the recording that week. And I don't think anyone would fault us for that at all. But we've made it such a priority for both of us that it just kind of happened. So I guess that kind of takes care of the podcast issue. The work issue, I have a little bit more flexibility at work now. I no longer have like 3 bosses over me. So I have a little bit more use of my free time. It just means that I've got my billable hours. So I just need to make sure that I'm putting in some extra time ahead of time or after, and all of my clients are happy and I can find that time. The family issue, that's kind of rough because we've got a 2.5-year-old or almost 2.5-year-old, and we've got a 15-year-old here at the house. And we brought both of them to Dice Tower Con. We did Disney World and Universal Studios leading up to it. We will never mix family vacation and board game convention again. It was a little rough.
I can only imagine.
Just a little rough. So, but what's nice is, Raquel is a gamer. She likes to come to conventions. She likes to play games for, as long as I do. And so it's fun that we get to do this together, because a lot of couples don't. A lot of couples don't get to share their hobbies and interests with one another. So we're fortunate that works for us. So.
And that's very important. I mean, my wife will be with me out at Rocky Mountain. Our neighbors are coming and our good friends of ours are coming. So we've secured an entire villa or whatever. Ooh. So all of them will be with me, but I've already informed them that, hey, we're not always going to be sitting there playing Opasha. I got to go play some real games here. Okay. So
you'll have a posse.
I am. I'm bringing a posse with me, but I'm very excited that, if Dan King makes it, this is going to be incredible. This is just going to be so much fun. So we've got to convince Alex that I know you get to go, but come on, buddy, come off the hip. Let's make it. Let's make a trip out there. You're going to have a blast. And I promise you, he and I can compare our scenic photography without people.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
I think he posted one of a butterfly or something. That was hilarious.
He won. I don't know if he won an award for that. Like there was one of a butterfly that he took at the Botanical Gardens that he submitted for a competition.
Oh wow!
I think he won like an award or something for that.
And see, that's a side that people probably are like, really? That is awesome.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. He's a great photographer.
Yeah. And what's one of your favorite hobbies that no one knows about?
Nothing.
Good.
Nothing. I mean, I've been gaming in one shape or fashion since I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, whether it was Magic or miniatures or board games. And I think even other hobbies have always been to kind of support the board gaming. So like I took up woodworking and I taught myself, I bought all the tools, I bought everything I needed, and to build a game table and to build like drink tables for the side of the game table. So anything else I do kind of supports that. Or even now, like if I'm watching a television show, because I used to watch a lot more TV than I do now, but even then I get bored, and so I'll have a rule book or I'll be playing an app or something. Mm-hmm. So everything kind of revolves around board games. So Alex said he won 3rd place for his butterfly pick, which got him a stuffed animal and tickets to the biopark.
I don't want to know what a biopark is. I know what a bio break is, but not a biopark.
It's like our botanical garden. It's part of this whole zoo structure facility there. So one last question from Suzanne. Looking back after the years of doing RDTN now, is there something that if you could have changed from the beginning, what would you have changed?
I would have probably changed overall just realizing that the first 10, 15 episodes needed to be canned and never released.
Yeah.
That's probably that. Marty and I always say that we really needed to practice before we released, because as you know, you get that initial bump at the beginning, and that's what builds your audience from there. So it would have been nice to be more practiced, more polished. And I also think that probably finding more time to do video segments would have been nice. But, it is what it is. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm enjoying the people I meet. So would I change anything else? No. Great people, had great guests, met you guys. I mean, it's just been a blast. I enjoy some of the things that have come out of it. Like, for instance, Sean, would you please rank for me Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica?
You're killing me.
This is
because I like them all so much for so many different reasons. All right. So I'm gonna, and I bet you a year from now it would be different, and it would have been different a year ago too. So I'm gonna say Star Wars, and if for no other reason that my daughter's nickname is Chewbacca, and it's stuck. And my Raquel calls her that. Her grandparents call her that. The entire family calls her Chewie. And she's the cutest little girl, and she has this horrible nickname, Chewie, but it's what she goes by. And then second would be Star Trek. And again, even so, when I first put up pictures of Chewie, the ultrasound, I said on Facebook, introducing the world to Chewbacca Picard Ramirez. Because
yeah.
So yeah, Star Trek was, I was a Star Trek fan before I was a Star Wars fan, I think. Like, I had watched Star Wars and stuff growing up, but I didn't really get into Star Wars until high school, whereas I got into Star Trek in, I'd say, middle school. And it was just a great escape for me as kind of I was really awkward in middle school. I kind of came into my own in high school, but in middle school I was super awkward. And it was just a way for me to escape, and I really, really embraced it. And then Battlestar, you know, if the new Battlestar had a better finale, it might have been higher up on the list. But that whole last season, Ronald D. Moore had no idea where he was taking that show, and that was its big fault. But it had some of the greatest moments of television that I've ever seen. Season 3, episode 2, The Escape from New Caprica, was just some of the most amazing thing I've ever seen on television. So really high highs, but not inconsistent. So right. Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, and I feel like I've betrayed someone. So
no. I mean, I did this to you on purpose, is because it's a tough ranking. I mean, you know, for me, everybody knows it's going to be Star Trek, then Battlestar, then Star Wars.
Okay.
But then again, I sat there and was mesmerized, even though I saw them in the theater on their release, because I am, you know, that old, Star Wars. And I was just amazed that, you know, here it was, an 11-year-old kid seeing Star Wars and just like, how in the world are they doing this?
Right.
You know, it was just incredible. But yeah, I mean, we all love them. It's what we all fandom to. And Star Trek's better than Star Wars. Now I'm excited about the new Star Trek that's coming out.
Yeah.
See how that goes. But you're right, Battlestar. I've yet to finish watching all those Battlestars. I keep hearing you don't need to see the end. Just stop after season 3.
There's some amazing stuff that happens in season 4, but you almost need to. But it's a big letdown. At least it was for me. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, like currently I'm rewatching Deep Space Nine, and wow. I'm amazed. I'm in the middle of season 2 now, and I watched it all the way through when it first came out. I think I was in high school, and I feel like looking back now, there was so much stuff that went over my head. So many of like the historical parallels that they were drawing in the show, and I'm just amazed at some of the episodes. I'm amazed at some of the character development that like went over my head as when I was younger, and I'm appreciating it so much more now. So.
And see, I need to go back and watch that again, because some of those characters just hit me wrong, and I just stopped watching it. And I need to go back and see it again, But then again, I'm also probably a minority, because I liked, Janeway. I enjoyed that. Yeah. Voyager. I really enjoyed that. And not because of, the various characters they had on there, just I enjoyed those stories. I mean, the one story where they were trapped in the mining, the satellite, the two gentlemen were trapped. I still vaguely remember it, but that's from Voyager, and the characters that they were encountering in that show. I just really enjoyed it. So you're right. I mean, that's a good thing about BBC America. I can catch all that.
Yeah. It's on Netflix too. But yeah, I'm gonna go through and watch Voyager, because I only watched the first season and a half of Voyager, and then I didn't follow through. I did watch all of Enterprise. I really liked Enterprise. I thought it was solid. And I guess the new show was supposed to take place between Enterprise and the original series.
Right. So they tried to go before the original series, and now that didn't work too well, and so we're going to go in between. So we'll see how that is.
I heard, and I don't know if this is true, I heard that they were going to do something different every season. Like it was going to be different eras of Trek every season. Well, I don't know if that's the case, but I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I would enjoy that. So, but anyway.
Well, let's see if there's any last couple questions. So, I know, let's see here. Matthew Franz. He says,
What's up,
"What's
buddy?
a better? What's a?" And so he messaged me on Facebook. So I've got Twitter, I've got the YouTube chat, I've got the Board Game Geek Guild, and now I've got a Facebook message. I always forget to ask Tony this: what's the better anthem for the South? Alabama, Song of the South, or Leonard Skinner, Sweet Home Alabama?
Oh, well, wow. You really can't say Sweet Home Alabama because it's only about one state. So the first one, now he's really making me go back to my music here. Man, I figured he'd pull something from, Charlie Daniels or something like that, Molly Hatchet, but that's okay, Matt. I'll forgive you for that. So yeah, the Alabama song, probably.
Okay.
Because but Freebird's not everybody, so Freebird's for everybody. But Sweet Home Alabama, I'm going to go with that. However, that's a good movie, the Matthew McConaughey movie.
Wait, which one?
It's the one where he's the glass maker. Wasn't that Matthew McConaughey?
He's a glass maker?
Well, he makes, maybe I'm wrong. I'm thinking of the wrong one. And if my wife was around, she could tell me exactly which one. They're doing the glass blowing. I thought it was Sweet Home Out with, no, it wasn't Matthew McConaughey. It was with Legally Blonde girl.
Oh, Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, from that standpoint, I'm just like, man, that's the way to go. I can't believe Matt would ask me that.
Well, and then so over in the Guild, Mike Risley had asked.
Josh Lucas Jet was the one. No, I was confusing. My bad, guys. I'm sad.
So Mike Risley, who I was hoping would be here because he's one of our Patreon supporters, but he did ask on the Guild. Year after year, North Carolina State chokes in all sports during the second half of the season. This trend goes across seasons, players and coaches. At what point, Tony, do you walk away as a fan? Yikes.
Okay, so for me, I do not. I would rather play sports than watch. But for our home team here, I usually give them about halfway through the season. If they're doing good, that's fine. But other than that, I will always watch. I will always support. But I'm not a heavy watcher. Now, my wife, on the other hand, if we don't end this at 3:30, we're going to be yelling. You're going to hear some yelling because State does play today, NC State. So from that standpoint, when do I walk away? When do I throw in the towel? Normally basketball, these past few years, before they even begin conference play, I've thrown in the towel. The baseball team, I was very surprised at how well they were doing. And the football team, I understand. We are in now with a league we're actually next weekend, we're going to be at the Notre Dame NC State game. That'll be interesting. We play Clemson the week after that. So I'm just like, this is going to be an incredible decimation of my alma mater, but that's okay.
Very cool.
And what about you, Alex? What about your teams?
Sean.
Did I say Alex? I'm reading the screen.
You've been responding to him in chat, right? So no, that's.
I'm reading the screen. Yeah, Sean, my bad.
I don't follow sports. I don't follow sports really. I played sports in high school and when I was younger, but for the most part, I don't follow sports because then that's time taken away from board gaming. But I am doing fantasy football for the first time this season. So I'm kind of following football. I grew up as a Cubs fan, as a Bears fan, and as a Bulls fan because my stepdad was from Chicago. So that's what the teams I supported. But as an adult, I haven't really followed too much. I guess I should support the University of Arizona Wildcats. That's where I went to law school.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really pay attention.
Okay. So if I ever decide to just pick up, my wife is working for a lawyer now. Can she come out that way? Maybe you can give her a job.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. You just come out to game nights on Wednesdays and yeah, by all means.
Okay. Here, I don't know when bowling nights would be out there. The bowling nights is Wednesday here.
Thursdays.
Thursdays is bowling night?
Yeah. My paralegal and her husband and son are in a league on Thursdays, I think. I think league nights are Thursdays.
Thursday. Yeah, the Lousy Bowler League is what we subscribe to. That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Do you bowl?
I am capable of it, and I've bowled on occasion. I'm any game where I can crack about 110. I'm happy. That's what I'm shooting for.
With or without bumpers?
Without bumpers.
Okay.
Bumpers. Although that might be fun. That might be a fun release. Just chuck it down there with the bumpers.
Well, you make a game of it. It's okay. This time you have to have one bumper. You have to hit the bumper somewhere. You have to do a dual bumper and things like that. Now, the bowling alley is not a big fan of that, but that's okay. So that's fine. I can deal with that. So from that standpoint, now I will say that you have your Patreon. We have Pod Pledge and everything, and once again, that's more support. It's amazing how that works for everything. What is? Have you looked into pint glasses yet?
I haven't. And I know that's obviously been a big thing for the Secret Cabal. I know Blue Peg, Pink Peg has just started that up. And it's something that I've thought about because I have a collection of pint glasses, different things. And so I think it's kind of something cool. I feel like t-shirts, if you have a high demand for t-shirts, then I feel like that would translate to a high demand for pint glasses. But maybe that's just something in my head. So you guys are with Analog Gamer, right, for your t-shirts?
Yes, we are. He does an incredible job. Matter of fact, that's why I was asking, is because maybe the little squirrel can show up on a pint glass, and I got to talk to Brandon over there about that and figure out who we're going to try to do that with. But there's a Kickstarter. Have you seen this one? The Loaded Dice Kickstarter pint glasses?
Yes. So there's different. There's a D20 glass. There's like a D10 glass, whatever, and it has the numbers on the side. And you take a drink, and whatever level it goes to, that's your die roll.
It would take us 10 hours to get through one adventure with all the bathroom breaks. Yeah.
When I first saw that, I was like, oh, that would be kind of cool if it were randomized, but you can, I mean, it's a novelty. I don't think you're actually going to use it for a game of D&D for an actual die roll, but it would be kind of cool if it was somehow randomized because you have control over how much you drink. And you're like, well, I'll just have a little sip. Hey, look, it's an 18. Mm-hmm. So it's a cool novelty item, I think.
It is. It's a novelty. It is neat. It's kind of, I thought it was just kind of interesting. And when I was perusing Kickstarter, do you find yourself doing that? I just go out and hit Kickstarter. Oh, yeah. And then my other favorite site is the Goodwill auction site. And I can never win on there, where you go out and try to find. Yeah, there's the Goodwill auction site where you can go and see. It's like the eBay. And like one time I was bidding on a certain games, like some of the, you should check this out because they sell Magic cards and they list the poundage.
Oh, jeez.
Like selling 10 pounds of Magic cards. I'm like, wow.
I wonder if there's even like one or two decent cards in there, like one or two. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Well, it depends on if the mom is cleaning out the son's closet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, at some point I need to organize my Magic cards because I'm not going to get rid of them anytime soon. But they're just kind of a mess of. They're just taking up a lot of space right now, in a non-organized way.
As you cut your eyes to them to look at them. Yeah, I got some work over there. I know you do.
Yeah. Well, I would love some more time in a week. I would love to be able to fit board games in, fit miniatures in, fit collectible card games, LCGs in. I know I could stop podcasting and then I'd have a ton more time.
Don't do that to your fans. Don't do that to the community. I mean, come on, stay with it. Just sleep. It's overrated.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I get very little sleep.
So just 24, just catch up on the weekend. There you go.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Just sleep during, you don't watch football. You don't, nothing like that. You can do that. So anyway, it's one of those things. I mean, and then it's always getting the email from Cool Stuff Inc. and Miniature Market. Oh, what's on sale today? Ooh, got to go check it out. And I guess stuff. And the Barnes and Noble 50% off. I'm always waiting for that. I picked up 5 Tribes for 50% off.
Nice.
Have you played second edition Mansions yet?
I haven't. I have it upstairs. We were going to try and play it on a Wednesday night at Empire Board Game Library, but then I had people tell me do it somewhere quiet.
Yeah.
So we held off on that, and I'm hoping to do it one weekend here pretty soon. I think we're looking at reviewing it. So I'm pretty excited. For everything, all of the reviews that I've heard have been pretty stellar.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my single play games. I got a feeling. I'm hoping the wife will join me for that one. I haven't broken it open. That was one of those. That was on the spot buy, just suddenly an urge, and 40% off Barnes and Noble coupon. I'm like, no brainer.
Oh yeah.
You know, they had it. I was like, man.
Yeah, I picked it up. I picked it up at Empire the first week it was out, and haven't. And we put it together, but haven't touched it. Haven't touched it since then. So, yeah, that's too bad.
And I'm going to the local game store. I think they have a copy of what was it? Oh My Goods.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's so good. The game is so good. Pick it up.
Okay.
And what's fun is because there's the push your luck element to it, and as people are flipping over the cards, and you just need one more wheat to turn your engine on, and you're just yelling at the cards, "Give me a wheat! Give me a wheat!" And then it comes or doesn't, and you rejoice or you cry. But it's such a fun game. It's so good. I'm telling you, Alexander Pfister, because we did our top 10 designers a couple months ago, and if we were to redo the list, he would be on that list, and he'd be pretty high. Have you played Mombasa?
No, I missed out on that play of Mombasa. It's amazing. I go back, everybody said, have you played this? I'm like, but yet you do a podcast on board. I'm like, there's so many. But no, but it's one I want to play, you know? Yeah,
there's back to Oh My Goods though. I mean, it's such a small box, so few cards, and it's good price, but there's so much game in that little box. It's just fantastic. I can't recommend it enough.
And I love the fast. When you mentioned it, it was like the fast play. I love the fast play. I can definitely get into that. That's why I'm so excited for when Plaid Hat Games releases Masahuchi. God, I am struggling here. But when they release Caravan.
Oh yeah. Matsuchi, Emerson
Matsuchi. Yes, I cannot wait for that. That for such a simple little game, there is so much there. I'm so looking forward to that.
So when you get it, are you going to, because it has 2 different themes, you pick which version of it, right? Mm-hmm. There's the kind of classic Euro game, Mediterranean style, and there's was it a sci-fi or was it a fantasy? Was the other one?
I thought he was doing the Arabians.
Oh, was it?
Thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Wasn't there a sci-fi one too?
Who knows? Buy the game. Buy both of them because they're different. Okay, they're not different, but that's beside the point. I will grab whichever. When I walk in and I look at the box arts, I'm buying the one that just grabs me right then.
Yeah. I'm excited to try. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So, all right. Well, let's
wrap this up.
I guess let's wrap this up because I have to go help finish packing my mother-in-law. So look at that. I just called her my mother-in-law, even though technically she's not. So if that tells you anything about, or when people refer to Raquel as my wife, I'm like, I don't correct. Like I don't even think to correct it.
You don't need to. You don't need to, man.
Yeah. So, but listen, Tony, I'm very happy that you came on. That you took time out of your weekend, because like I've told you before, both on air, off air, whatever. You guys, Rolling Dice Thinking Names, one of the first board gaming podcasts I listened to, and listened to every episode when it came out. It was you guys, Secret Cabal, Blue Peg, Pink Peg, and the Dice Tower. When I first started listening to podcasts, you guys were the ones. And so I think that there's a little bit of influence of RDTN on the Dukes of Dice because of that. So,
And I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, and I listen to you guys too. Yep, backslap, big bro hugs here going on. No, seriously, when I met you at BGG, it was just like meeting a good old friend here, and I
Totally.
really do. I do appreciate it, and keep up the hard work. I know it's a lot weekly. Proud of you. I'm glad somebody's doing it. And anytime, I'm glad that this worked out, that we have a 2-hour split, that I was able to get the morning in. Now it is time to go mow some grass. You got to go move somebody. I got to go mow grass and go buy groceries. I love grocery shopping. That's weird. I don't know why, dude. But anyway, but yeah, for those Dukes of Dice fans, by all means, please, if you haven't listened to Rolling Dice and Taking Names, we'd love to have you give us a listen. Start with episode 100, and you can get a taste of just how silly we are and move forward with that. Now, episode 11, our wives came on. I'm still working on my wife. I'm trying to get her to come on and do episode number 111 with Marty's wife. I'm still working.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I know. Just to hear how it's changed over time. It's been 3 years. Y'all 2 years, right?
Yeah. Big. A lot can happen in a couple of years.
Yeah, and how things change and how the perspective on gaming has changed and just how this is all done. So, but thank you again. Thanks for having me. I hate Alex was not here because I was really looking forward to giving as much grief to him as I could. And I hate that he's not going to make it to Rocky Mount, but I'm so looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, me too. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have a good time. So yeah, like you said, Tony, by all means, if you guys haven't checked out Rolling Dice Taking Names, fantastic show. I highly recommend it. So go do that. So thank you to everyone that's joined in on the chat. Thanks to Derek for joining us for a little bit too, and for all of our awesome Patreon supporters that made this possible. So until next time, this is Sean.
And this is Tony.
And Hail Hydra. Catch you later.